Welcome to the Pickleball Recovery Podcast, where we highlight products and practices to help you feel better faster, so you can spend less time stiff, sore, and injured, and more time on the court doing what you love. This podcast is sponsored by AlloMD. Don't just mask pain, eliminate it. AlloMD provides intense relief and advances continual repair for both acute injuries and chronic pain. All natural, patented technology developed by doctors to get you back in the game fast without the use of opioids, steroids, or NSAIDs. AlloMD, harnessing the power of pure natural ingredients that provide deep, penetrating repair. Patented, validated, natural. Learn more at www.allomd.com. What's up? Welcome to Pickleball Recovery. I'm your host, Tim Ringgold. It's so great to have you here. Thanks so much for checking out the podcast. And thanks for everybody who has rated and reviewed us on Spotify or on Apple. And if you're listening on either of those platforms, please do us a favor. If you're enjoying this, just leave a rating and a review. It just takes a couple of seconds. It goes a long way to help build credibility for the podcasts, to land bigger and better quality guests. Nothing against the guests we've had already. Thanks for that in advance. And gosh, what to say about this next interview. So I've had just an amazing experience with this product, AlloMD. You're going to be hearing an interview between me and Chris Hardy, the founder. And this is from the Desert Ridge Open back in January. And I got to tell you, I'm proud to be a sponsored athlete with AlloMD. The product has been a game changer for me. Playing singles, guys, there is, pickleball fit, and then there's singles fit. And, you don't need to take my word for it. You can hear that on any other podcast. It is a grind out there, and your body just gets wrecked. And I don't know how I would have gone gold in 3 tournaments in a row without these guys. This product works. It's phenomenal. I've heard just crazy, amazing stories from lots of different people who are using it. And so I'm really excited to bring it to you because it's new to the pickleball space. I showed up at Desert Ridge after being rubbed down at the Masters, and I'll probably tell that story in the actual interview, but I had such a profound experience at the Masters that I was just their new best friends in January when I saw them again in Phoenix. And Chris is just an amazing guy, AlloMD and Mediceleaf. It's just a great family that I've become a part of. And I'm really excited to bring this interview to you. You're definitely going to want to try out their product. It's really phenomenal. And I can tell you now that I've got several months of experience with it. Really amazing product for a lot of reasons, and we'll talk about it in the interview. And you can use the discount code PBR at checkout to save yourself $5 on your first tube. So check it out and enjoy this interview. Sit back, relax, enjoy the ride, and I'll see you on the other side. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Pickleball Recovery. This is your host Tim, and I have the good fortune today to hang out with my new friend, Mr. Chris Hardy. Chris, would you please tell us the name of your company and your position?
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me. My name is Chris Hardy. I am the founder and CEO of HW&B Enterprises, and we have recently launched a new pain and recovery product called AlloMD into pickleball using the Professional Pickleball Association. So we're really excited about this week.
Outstanding. And tell us what those initials in your company name stand for, because it's outstanding.
Well, it's a funny story because we were under a time crunch when we finally got the first funding, and I had to hurry up and incorporate an LLC, and so we came up with HW&B, which stands for Hard Work and Brains.
So good.
And I had an HW&B business back in Chicago, 30 years ago. So that's why I was in a pinch. I came up with it. But HW&B stands for Hard Work and Brains. And I always tell everybody there's a lot more HW than B. Sometimes. Most times.
I think it was Woody. Is it Woody? Helps to know who's you're about to quote. It's not Woody Harrelson. It's the other Woody Allen, who said, I think 90% of success is showing up. So the hard work, and I think we've all met educated derelicts out there, and we've also all watched super talented athletes who don't work hard and they blow the gift they were given. So hard work for the win. So tell us about we met because I was playing in a tournament, the PPA Masters, and I was having some low back pain, and you guys had a tent at that tour stop, and I came over and I was, well, let's just say, acting my age. I was quite stiff. I'm coming up on 50 here, and playing singles is grueling. And you guys hit me with this product, and within I don't know, minutes, not hours, like minutes, 2 minutes later, suddenly I felt like I hadn't just played a day of pickleball. Tell everybody this product and its story. Like, how did this get birthed? Because it was phenomenally effective for me and allowed me to really enjoy my game.
Yeah, absolutely. A group of doctors, led by Dr. Joseph McWhorter, who's an OBGYN of all things.
Okay.
He was started using thermographic techniques alongside of mammography to screen his patients, because mammography over all those years wasn't really reducing the incidence of breast cancer. So
Yep.
with the thermographs, he was able to when he perfected his techniques, he was really able to detect real early on breast cancer. And it would show up as a pinprick of heat in the thermographs.
Got it.
There's an anomaly, and then there's higher vascular activity, and the thermographs over time you can see it growing and growing and growing.
Gotcha.
So sometimes 8 to 10 years in advance.
That's right.
He could see this. So he thought, my goodness, I know these women are going to get breast cancer. What can I do about it? So he and another colleague out of California, Dr. Uzi Rice, it was about 13 years of research that they did, and their determination was, in these women, they were seeing a consistency of distress in the they call it the extracellular matrix tissue, which is the glue that suspends the cell in every type of tissue. So breast tissue has its own ECM, joints, muscles, brain tissue, all organs and all tissue types have their own ECM.
Okay.
And all the neurotransmission into the cell goes through there's 5 pathways into the cell, all goes through the ECM.
Okay.
But these women had distress, so they thought, if we could correct the distress in the tissue, perhaps we could stop the progression of breast cancer.
Okay.
And they came up with a group of bioceuticals.
Bioceuticals. Okay, that's the first time I've heard that one. I've heard nutraceutical, pharmaceutical, bioceuticals. What does that mean?
There's, again, the 5 orthomolecular pathways into the cell.
Okay.
Each one of them is covered by a chemical pathway.
Okay.
And they wanted to get targets through these pathways, but they wanted to do it naturally.
Okay.
So they came up with a group of natural ingredients that would cover that chemical pathway.
All right.
And so the pathways are the isothiocyanates.
Okay, this is not
the catechins.
This is not going to be on the test.
The stilbenoids, the catechins.
Okay.
And the curcumin, tetrahydrocurcumin, and then the 5th one is a group of essential oils led by Boswellia carteri, which is frankincense.
Okay.
And it's got rosemary oil in it. Anyway, so they put this cream together, and they started using it on their patients, and it worked.
Interesting.
They had over 1,000 women in the initial study.
Okay.
All in various stages of onset breast cancer. Not a single woman ended up getting breast cancer. And they were dissolving sometimes 3-centimeter calcified masses in breast tissue with the cream.
Interesting.
But the funny thing that they started asking the ladies, ma'am, how do you find my cream, when they were using it? They said, Doc, I don't know, but the arthritis in my hands is gone. And can I get another tube, because my husband has knee pain and he took my time and he needed another tube. So that led into further clinical studies on joint, subchronic, chronic, acute, even chronic arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, all kinds of different chronic conditions, and incredibly successful. But when I met him back in 2000, at the end of 17, beginning of 18, he was just selling this cream to his population of patients.
Got it.
And I looked at the formula. I mean, he had me at hello. He told me that story I just told you.
Yeah, you're like,
you've
got my attention.
I've been in natural wellness products for, almost 20 years.
Okay.
And my specialty is aloe vera, natural aloe vera.
All right.
I'm an aloe evangelist. I
Yes.
want to help people.
Yeah.
Aloe is the most amazing botanical mankind has ever known. It's been used for 6,000 years.
Yeah.
It's the only botanical that shows up in every civilization, the recorded history of every civilization.
Interesting.
It's the only one.
Okay.
Anyway, and again, there's being in the industry. For 6,000 years, humankind used natural aloe. Break open a leaf, use the gel inside. That's the good stuff.
Got it.
It wasn't until the last 4 years where manufacturers came up with cheap ways to make ingredients. And so I specialize in just natural aloe vera.
Gotcha.
And when I saw his formula and he was telling me these natural bioceuticals, I looked at the formula. He was using harsh chemical solvents to penetrate the dermal layers.
Okay.
To take the ingredients in.
Gotcha.
I said, Doc, no, we got to get rid of the chemicals. Let's put my aloe in it. And we made the absorption off the charts.
Wow.
So his patent is for MD matrix.
Okay.
It's short for the extracellular matrix.
Yep.
And that's the 5 bioceuticals. Again, 13 years patented. So we added my aloe. That's how you get the name of the product, Aloe MD.
Got it.
And again, we're certified natural, totally natural product.
Nice.
We launched it. At that time I had a direct selling company.
Okay.
And it was a good test. We had about 10,000 users who just absolutely loved the product. That's how I met Rick Barry, Hall of Fame basketball player, now an avid pickleball player.
Yep.
And he was, back then, he was saying, this is a great product. You got to put CBD in it. You got to put some cannabinoids in it.
Yep.
And I was resistant, similar to the aloe industry where you have ingredient manufacturers, you don't know what you're getting.
Yes.
The CBD industry is, it's booming, but you have no idea.
Yep.
Everybody tells you they have, mine's organic, mine's this or that.
Yep.
So I was resistant. And fast forward until the last summer 21, Rick called me and he said, look, I found the guys.
Okay.
I met him at Pickleball. These are the guys you need to work with to put CBD in your product. And so he introduced me to Medicinal Leaf and Don Schaefer, who's the founder and CEO, and they had been a sponsor of the PPA.
Yep.
And they were at the time. And, it's a God thing. For me, it's a God thing.
Mm-hmm.
No coincidences.
Yep, totally.
So after I met him, he said, hey, there's a PPA event in Rockwall, Texas. Do you know where that is? And I said, it's not at the Oasis, is it? He said, yeah, it's at the Oasis. It's 10 minutes from my house.
Oh, my gosh.
So that was my first pickleball event.
Okay.
I went there. I met Tyson McGuffin there.
Yep.
And I met a few other folks. And the people, I've been, this product and a lot of other things have exposed me to a lot of professional athletes as well as ex-professional athletes.
Yep.
And, the pickleball folks are just a breath of fresh air, totally different atmosphere, chill, laid back, and genuinely wanting to help.
Yeah.
And when they found out we had something for pain and recovery, it's like, I was the new superstar, So I got introduced to a lot of folks, and we did a prototype with his cannabinoids and the aloe, the original aloe MD.
Okay.
And what we saw was like, oh my God. We had some injured athletes, not non-pickleball players, and what we saw from a recovery standpoint just blew our minds. And I thought, all right, we're going to do this. So Don and I engaged in October. We ran a pilot, and we brought it out to Palm Springs, La Quinta, and that's where I met you.
Yep.
And we sold out in 4 hours. And that's where I met Dane Gingrich, who's now on our team. Greatest guy. And, I didn't know who he was, whatever. He came to the booth in pain, and we slathered him up with our product.
Yep.
And he came back after his match and he said, "This is next level. This is I gotta be with you guys. And I said, "Don, who's that?" Oh, he goes, "That's Dane Gingrich." and he goes, "You got it." All right, so I after the event was over, I spent some time talking to Dave and I went to Dane, and I met Dave, his partner.
Yep.
Dave Weinbach,
the Badger.
And it's just a merit. Dane is a walking, talking poster child for our product. He's got
amazing.
All kinds of issues with his knees and his back, and and he's performing at the highest level.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
And the grueling pace that he puts his body through.
Yep.
In tournaments.
Yep.
He needs something.
Teaching clinics as well, and nonstop.
Yeah, and what it's done for him. Again, I'm just giving testimony of what I'm seeing, and look, I know you because we put it on you
Yep.
and it worked for you. So
That's it.
really excited about being here with Pickleball. I mean, my first goal, first and foremost, is to help people.
Yeah.
This product can help people. I mean, there's 140 million people out there with pain or some form of chronic pain. What are their options?
Yep.
You've got opioids,
Yep.
which, what
Terrible
happens.
solution.
I mean, and last year was the worst year for overdoses.
Yep.
And the statistics are horrible.
Yep.
You've got the NSAIDs, which that goes through your liver,
Yep.
and you can't rely on them
Yeah.
consistently.
Yep.
And now because of the whole change in the opioid crisis with doctors not wanting to prescribe these pain meds,
Right.
you're left with a lot of folks, like veterans and military veterans and others that just don't have solutions.
Yeah. Yep.
And if you've ever experienced a type of pain that is life-changing, you know what I'm talking about. I did. I blew out my L5 disc, and
Got it.
and I couldn't. The only comfort I got was when I was face down on an ottoman, and then the ottoman caught me on the middle of my quads and the middle of my chest to decompress. I didn't know that I had blown the disc at the time.
Got it.
So I know what it's like.
Yeah.
And it's just it's debilitating.
It's debilitating.
And you can't think. You can't be a father. You
Yep.
can't be a spouse.
Yep.
You can't be an employee.
Yep.
So we have something that perhaps can help.
Yeah.
And what we're seeing is helping a lot.
Yep.
And this really belongs in the from a clinical side. PT clinics, chiropractors, orthopedic,
Yep.
sports medicine.
Yep.
On the recreational side, of course, racket centers, pickleball gyms, fitness centers. Ultimately, we see this product going into every pharmacy in across the United States.
Yep.
Pickleball is a great way for brand awareness.
Yep.
You've got an aging population in constant need of pain. Something for their pain and recovery. This product actually addresses the tissue concerns. So when you tweak something or something's going on with a tissue, it advances accelerated healing.
Wow.
And it provides continual repair. So, it's one of those things that you put on. Don't stop putting it on after you feel good.
Right.
Because it's going to stabilize your joint or your muscle, any injured area or previously injured area.
Got it.
Next time you go out and perform, you have a better chance of not re-injuring.
Got it.
So that was a short version.
Yeah. Stay tuned for the full webinar, ladies and gentlemen. We will have a 5-hour continuing ed course, but we will quiz you on the 5 cellular pathways. That's on the test for sure. That was a lot more science than I was ready for. Thank you for that. That was very cool. On a practical side, I was telling you the story that I played in singles Thursday, didn't have any issues, but I actually was in the semifinals or in that equivalent of a semifinal match. Winner was going on in the winner's bracket to the gold medal match, and I was losing. And the gentleman I was playing against, because I'm in the 50-plus bracket, blew out his hammy. He was at match point. He won the first game. He's up 10-6 in the second, and he goes to reach for a ball, and then he just tumbles, and he goes down, and he just can't move the same way. And I come back because he's playing on one leg, and I tie it up, and then I win 12-10. And then he says, I don't have it in me to play a third. And I go on to the finals, and I take gold. Eventually, I win in the finals. And we had this conversation, my coach and I, about when you're, a Gen Xer or above, half of pickleball is your body working, and then the other half is you working the ball. And you have to have both. Otherwise, you don't get to play pickleball. And I had to take as much solace in the fact that I, eat well. I'm super into nutrition and supplements, and I exercise and stretch, and I use recovery products daily as a part of my own well-being. And on Thursday night, I didn't have any problems. But yesterday, I started feeling a lot of pain in my hamstring, a lot of pain, like a golf ball or a tennis ball. And I started using the Aloe MD, and I was telling you, how much should I use? Because this is kind of a funny expression that we were talking about, because I was being very dainty with my application. And there's a verb that you used. And do you remember the verb?
Yes, you'd like to slather it on.
Slather. It's a very medical, clinical term. To slather. Slather that thing. So sure enough, okay, that is not me. That is not my. I did have beans, but excuse whatever audio that was that we just heard there. Wow. Okay. We'll just keep moving here. So I slathered. I did the proper thing, and I went out and I played 3 hours of doubles this morning. And so I slathered when I woke up. I slathered before I went to bed. Slathered when I woke up. And then about an hour after I woke up, just before I went on the court, slathered again in the bathroom and went out on the court and played pain-free for 3 hours. And
crazy, isn't it?
When I woke up this morning, I was going to text my buddy to cancel. I was going to be like, feeling a little squirrely, my legs feeling a little tight. And then I thought to myself, this is the thing that happens because pickleball is a social sport and you set up these sessions with friends, and my buddy, we haven't seen each other in 20 years. I don't want to cancel, or you've heard this one, just one more game. OMG, right? And you're like, sure, no, what could go wrong? And so this morning I just didn't want to cancel on him. And I thought, well, what am I going to do? And so I reached for my tube of AlloMD. And the rest is history. I had a great, super fun morning playing, and I'm not in pain. And I mean, I think that's the best testimonials is when your body just doesn't tell you anything. You forget about the issue, and you can just focus on the fact that you're missing all your third shot drops, and you curse the new paddle, and that's where you want to be. You want to be complaining about your game, not your body, right? And that's when whatever you're working is working.
You're making me laugh because we were talking about that. This is a gold mine for marketing, right? We got a picture of Dave and Dane, arguing, and you can say, it stops the complaining, or the excuses,
yes.
That, that's my knee this time. That's why we lost,
Yep. Can't use that one. Going to have to talk about your paddle, maybe your shoes, but it's not going to be your knee or your hammy or your glute. And tell me, what is it about the pickleball world? You kind of touched on a little bit more, but why pickleball? What is it about? I get your conviction for health and healing, but what is it about this space particularly that's been kind of a romance for you?
Well, I was introduced to pickleball because of AlloMD.
Okay.
An investor of mine plays just total rabid fan.
Course.
2 years ago, he keeps telling me I had to play, and he needed the AlloMD, and so I gave him the AlloMD, and he actually introduced it to the CEO. It was a C-level executive for a $20 billion drug company.
Okay.
Who wanted to meet me after it worked so well for him, who was his pickleball partner.
Okay.
But his dad with 10-year chronic back pain and nothing ever worked for him. That was my introduction to pickleball.
Wow.
Right? And then of course Rick, who he just won gold, and he won gold here too.
Yep.
He won gold in La Quinta as well. But when I first picked up a paddle, that was in La Quinta.
Okay.
Started playing with my son. I mean, we both of us immediate. I mean, Christopher just played in the junior event yesterday.
Yes, that's right.
And we've got a father and son tonight. So we've been playing as much as we can.
Okay.
I love it. He loves it.
Nice.
I mean, and I think pickleball, the beauty of it is within a few minutes of picking up a paddle, you can have success.
Yes.
It's not like tennis where you have to be able to serve, because you're under. I mean, I can get my first serve in here, and it's fun. And for older people, the court's a little smaller,
yep.
and you don't have to be as athletic as you used to be,
right.
to have fun. Doubles is brilliant. I mean, I can play ping pong. I love ping pong.
Yep.
And there's, you need some ping pong skills, I think, to be good.
Yep.
Pickleball player, and then when you have the social aspect of it, it's a ball.
Yeah.
As a ball with my son, it's a ball with my friends, and I think that's why the sport is exploding. Right.
Yeah.
From a business standpoint, you've got the fastest growing sport in the world.
Yep.
The demographic for my products are perfect.
Yep.
People in need of health and wellness,
yep.
and recovery solutions.
Yep.
We provide an all-natural solution, which I think is important to the majority of the folks.
Absolutely.
And there's not a lot of folks right now. There's Fortune 500 companies trying to penetrate this community.
Interesting.
And they're starting to, but they haven't yet.
Yeah.
But I saw a few more different product suppliers, not product, but I, you know, consumer goods suppliers.
Yep.
So it's perfect, and because of Medissa Leaf and their history as a sponsor with the PPA.
Yep.
I was introduced to the owners of the PPA and the pros, and you know, for me, it's beyond romance. I'm married.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if I'm ever gonna, be ultra competitive, but I'd like to be.
Yep.
You know, I was a former athlete.
Yep.
And but I do enjoy watching my son. I've got him in the AAU in Texas now, the youth group.
Nice.
So they're trying to put together regional. They could use everybody's support to put together regional teams of youth groups that can compete against each other. So we've got him in that, and he loves it.
That's great.
And my wife is playing. You know,
nice.
So, you know, and I've got two other boys, and they picked up a paddle. They love it.
Nice.
So now they get to play with their little brother. So, pickleball not only is here to stay. I think what's happened with the organization, the changes with Tom Dundon coming in.
Yep.
He's taking this to a new. I mean, look at last night.
Yeah.
What do we have? 3,000 people there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It was crazy.
Crazy.
And I mean, that was like 4 times the size of the crowd that I saw in La Quinta. And that's what I'm expecting to see, you know, as we go throughout the country this year at the rest of the events. And there's no telling, you know, where this sport can go. You know, we're fast approaching 5 million people here in the United States playing pickleball.
Yep.
I think it's going to be upwards of 10 by 2024, 25.
Yeah, I think that's a conservative guess at this point.
So that's my why.
Yeah.
of why pickleball.
Yeah. Awesome. So where can people go to learn more about LOMD?
ALOMD.com.
Okay.
That's ALOE, the plant, ALOMD.com.
And the product that you had given me was called Acute Relief Cream. That's what they can find on there. That's what we've been kind of glowing about in this interview, and what Dane was kind of glowing about was the same thing.
Can't miss it. It's got a pickleball paddle on the front of the package.
There you go. That is target marketing, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Chris. Well, thank you so much for joining us on Pickleball Recovery.
Tim, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks so much for listening. Do you want to know the #1 mistake picklers make that leads to increased pain, soreness, stiffness, and injury? Just head over to www.pickleballrecovery.com and download my free guide to playing with less pain and more enjoyment. Listen, pickleball makes us feel young at heart, but not necessarily young in body. So go download my free guide at www.pickleballrecovery.com. See you next time.